All right, here with Coach Rod Oden. Been talking to you for a number of years, Rod, and this is a different one, man. And so that's kind of where I want to start, with your son being the recruit. How different is it for you? I know you've had experience, but how different is this one for you?
Oh, it's a lot different. You know, I always want to separate being his coach and his father. You know, I don't ever want us to have them awkward car rides where he's trying to be, you know, overly critical of himself because he's trying to do what I think is best for him. So I've, you know, developed our relationship to be more of a person that he comes to for advice or consultation, you know, and we work together to figure things out. So it's very different than we've done all these years in the past, for sure.
So how different is this part of it? Because you, over the years, you sent players all over the country. Man, I've been knowing you since what, BG?
Yeah.
Right? It's been forever.
Like 05, right?
Yeah, and you have always separated the fact that you're a Michigan guy. You're a Michigan alum. You've always separated that from recruiting. With Jacob, it's a little bit different though, because it's not just in school. This is at home. He sees you in leisure time. He sees you on Saturday watching games, saying go blue. Have you been able to separate that as easily with him as you have with all your other players?
Absolutely not. You know, I had to get him past the family bias. You know, he's come from the family, 3 generations of Wolverines, man. So I had to, you know, make him broaden his horizon and open his eyes up to you know, to Michigan State and some other schools to say, hey, these guys, they do a great job, man. And just because we all, you know, had success with Michigan and that was our chosen way of life, you're building your own path, you know. So I make sure that he keeps in contact with coaches from all over the country, man, and try to build those connections and relationships so that they're strong, and in the end he can make a great decision, because we're going to support him wherever he goes.
Yeah, he already had a grown-up experience, right? Seeing coaches that he's talked to that are recruiting him go elsewhere, including at Michigan. What was that like for him? What was that like for you as his dad to watch him experience a guy he just visited, Mike McDonald, going to the league?
That was a teachable moment right there, you know, because we had talked about it before, but for it to happen, you know, 6 or 7 days after spending a day with Coach McDonald, man, and talking about how you fit into the system and what the plans would be if you chose to come to Michigan, and then to look up and see that he's taking a new position elsewhere. You know, I just told him, man, this whole process for you is about relationships, man. Who's going to develop you and give you the best opportunity to play at the ultimate level, and who is going to be there to, you know, be your kind of support system, you know, and God bless him and all the decisions they've made, but he got to see it firsthand real quick to say, hey, you know, Dad, I got 23 offers, but from 6 of them, the coaches that offered me ain't at these schools no more. You know, you were offered by Syracuse and Coach Reynolds is gone. You know, you was offered by Kentucky and Coach Klink gone. You know, so, you know, and the Maryland coaches that offer you, they're no longer on staff. So, you know, you kind of can see who really into building relationships and getting to know you in your core, beyond your athletic ability. So I'm glad he's learning that early as a second semester sophomore, and I hope that'll help him make a great decision in the end.
So you mentioned Coach Klink. I mean, that's another one where you've known him forever. He's known Jacob forever. He mentioned that he's like an uncle.
Right.
Personal relationships are a part of this. How do you keep that from being the thing, that personal relationship?
Well, you know, when we talk about Klink, we talk about the fact that, you know, it is very personal. He is like an uncle. We've seen Klink come into our home, our school, in 6 different polo shirts, I tell him. You know, so you a wild card, man. We don't never know what you're going to do next, you know. So we kind of joke about that, but for that to be personal, and what he's doing is he's developing these guys and getting them ready for the NFL, man. So he definitely has a leg up on some other guys, but I make sure that Jacob understands that, you know, when it's time to make a decision, you have to have all the boxes checked, you know what I'm saying? And if it comes out that, you know, it's Michigan, or if it's Coach Klink that's going to be coaching you and developing you for the next 4 or 5 years, then that's what it is. But if it doesn't check out that way, I'm very comfortable with many other coaches. You know, I tell people all the time, it's going to be hard for me to say no to Phil Parker. Because he's 3 for 3 with me, and all 3 are playing in the NFL, and Phil did a great job with the guys that I've sent to Iowa. And then he's a DB guy by trade. So guys like that have been around forever, man, and we have strong relationships with. We just want to continue to build on those things and make sure that in the end he can make the best decision for him.
What are your
Taking our family out of the equation, where do you want to be for the next 4 years?
You mentioned that you guys had a brief sort of interaction with the new DC in Michigan, Jesse Minter. Just your initial impressions of him.
Well, he's had some initial, I haven't met him yet. You know, I'm looking forward to our first meeting and just want to talk ball with him as coach to coach, you know what I'm saying? And then seeing those guys over the spring and how they develop his secondary is going to be critical because they got some real nice players up there that'll be, at that point, probably juniors if Jacob was to arrive there. So we anticipate that him being a new coach, he will be there long enough to coach my son if he got there. And Coach, that's a good deal.
Coach Oden, appreciate your time, man. Thanks a lot.
Oh, thanks a lot.
All right.